There's my partner and partner in crime, and obviously we do a lot of diving together. Probably like many of you have been diving a very long time. We both learned cave diving in the early 2000s, and then also kind of went on to tech diving, so deco diving and stuff. And I know last time we talked a bit about decompression illness, and that was a great discussion, I thought. So we just thought we'd try and give people a few tips. For some of you, I know you're not, you already do many of these things, and we're not trying to preach. We're not trying to say you must do this, 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 and this. But there's just a few things that with equipment and that few things I've noticed on the boats, or and just in general, and kind of what can you learn from a background of tech and cave diving. And I'd say more and more people are moving towards using a lot of these things. I was on John's boat last week, and we both had our twin sevens on and our wing and plate and everything. And I have to have twins. All right, so arrow down. Right. So this is just an fairly old schematic, and just sort of having a little bit of a think about what a recreational diver might look like versus a tech diver. As I said, this is not a tech course or, pushing tech diving at all, but I just wanted to, as I said, just talk about a few bits and pieces that maybe we could take from the tech. So I'll go through some of the equipment. We've brought a few bits and pieces just to show you. So you can see there straight away, knife on leg, which, all us rough top divers always did. And that's okay, but maybe we move our knife to our waist or our wrists, get it caught on kelp, etc. You want it nice and easy to get to. Fins, split fins. Now, I'm not going to pay out on split fins, but the way that we think about the tech and cave, we're trying to avoid getting tangled. And if you think about all the big giant kelp and stuff that we swim through here in Victoria, you can get pretty caught and tangled. Guy down at South Road illegally poaching abalone got tangled in his equipment and tried to lift up the abalone, and the abalone won, and he died. So, bad luck for him, I suppose. Hopefully the abalone escaped. Gauges loose here, gauges on wrists, lights hanging, regs hanging versus, regs tucked away, easy to get to. A wetsuit, beautiful, fantastic tropical diving. That's what I wear, versus maybe a warmer suit, dry suit. And we'll go through a little bit of the things that we've learnt, and the reasons that we do it. Please interrupt at any time if anyone's got any questions as we go. That's certainly easier. So why do we care about our equipment, and why are we sort of going on about things dangling down? Well, streamlining of our gear makes it much easier to move through the water. You're going to reduce your fatigue. We're all getting on a bit, some of us, and a really big thing is you're improving your air consumption. So if you think about a diver, a little bit overweighted, big weight belt, maybe heavy fins, and they're swimming through the water like that, they are going to use a lot more air than someone that's just in good trim and doing a nice cruisy kick. So air consumption is important, yeah? We all want to do longer dives, we want to catch more crayfish, we want to take more photos, whatever. So for us, I think that's a big thing.
Terri,
yeah.
Question, that trim thing, and if there's no other divers watching you, can you work out whether you're horizontal? Is there any way of doing that?
Yeah, well,
it's having a Thai beef salad.
Thai beef salad. Yeah, look, one great way to do it is to video yourself, or get someone to video you.
They need someone else.
Yeah, or you get someone to look at you, or you practice yourself. So one thing you can do is, if you say under a pier or something on a sandy bottom, is actually float there and then breathe out and just touch the bottom, And it should be your udders and rudders, perhaps that hit first before your feet. So, but having the feedback from other people in a nice way can often be the best. Or, with GoPros and things now, it's so easy with the selfie stick. And that's what we did when we moved to side mounting for caves. We, videoed and checked each other and, so, yeah, no, it's a good question. So inviting entanglement, and in caves, of course, we're really paranoid about silt, but I'm sure some of you done the 36, 38 metre sub, very gnarly. If you go right down the back, very silty, and a place I wouldn't go without a line. And I've been in there when other divers have come out and just silt city and dangerous. Are we recording?
I do.
Yeah. Excellent. So we've got a few equipment suggestions. So my lovely assistant here, Jeff, fins. You want me to talk?
No, you talk.
Okay. So just a couple of things. These are heavy, jet fins, right? They've been around since military 1945. I'm not saying you have to go out and buy jet fins. If you're wearing a dry suit, think about a heavier fin. And the good thing with these, they're quite short, which in a boat can be quite good instead of really long fins. But what I wanted to say, spring heels. Easy. Pull them on, they pull your foot in, no clips, no buckles to break. And Jeff actually made these himself. So from springs from where? Bunnings, a long time. You've had these a long time. So I would really emphasise using some sort of springs. And a lot of fins now, when you buy them, they come all, complete with these. I've got about 4 or 5 different pairs of fins at home. I use them for tropical, travel, etc. Still love the jet fin, particularly with the dry suit. But yeah, spring heels.
I bought some mares with it's more of a fabric spring.
Oh yeah.
And they broke within.
Oh, really? Oh wow. Yeah.
Again, another example of mares being.
Well,
I made the spring and put it on in 2006.
Yeah.
Still works.
Compared to 4 months.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, look, I'm not going to obviously not going to push any particular brand, but when we're in the back of a cave and all hell breaks loose, I do want equipment that I trust and I can rely on, and
But even down 20 metres, you don't want to do a dive. You've got all the distance. Then go, oh shit.
Yeah, it's broken. Yeah. And you can carry spare straps and save the dive things and all that, and that's fine. And in the tropics, I usually just wear shoe fins because don't need the warmth. But I just really like the steel springs. They're just so easy to get on and off. Okay, so regs. So we've got Jeff here set up as with his regs and the different hose lengths. So I know I've seen a lot of people having their backup reg or one reg under their chin. People at home see us here? Probably not, no.
No, because all they're going to see
Is
that.
what's on there. Okay.
So you have to stop sharing in order to do the other.
All right. Well, I can always send pictures or something. Yeah, so the correct length. So if you have it here, Jackie. So if you have a really long backup hose, the trouble is it can hang down here. When you go to lift your arm or turn, all away. So when we got into cave diving, we had very prescriptive length sections. And once again, I'm not saying go and do it, but if you blow a hose or some equipment goes or your fins are, think about, okay, well, what could I buy instead, or what's a different way I could set up how I have my
standard hose is 1 metre or 1.2 metres standard hose, 22 or 24 inches. So it comes from the reg across the shoulder and sits there. That's the backup.
That's a dry suit hose with a nice little. Some of them now come with a nice little hat, but they're really good. Cold weather or with gloves, so they're easy and easy to on and off. And what else? So this is a bit radical, and I know, like when we first got into doing the back mounts, SPG by itself, unprotected, right? So no boot or anything on it, but the way it's protected is it's just clipped off here on the D ring. but it means you have to unclip it to read it. That's a muscle memory thing, that you unclip, read, and clip back off. You have to do that, but once again, it's very safe and very streamlined, straight down. It's not bailed out here, you're not rolling off the boat, getting it caught. I had someone once on a cave course at Kilsby's, didn't have the right length hose, it was very long, clipped off, and I said to her, look, you know, you probably should think about getting a shorter one. Yeah. Climbing down the ladder at Kilsby's. Has anyone here been to Kilsby's sinkhole? Yeah. So, you know, it's quite a nasty sort of steep ladder, and got it caught, you know, and thank goodness, just the last minute we managed to pull it off. And, you know, it wasn't a big deal, but it was just like, gosh, you know, that could be put in a wreck or something like that. Jeff's got a knife here on the waist, easy to get to with either hand. So if you're caught somewhere,
I like the torch under the arm.
torch under the arm, yeah.
That's the backup.
Yeah.
Out of the way.
And
So, you know, like he's got a primary light, so this is his backup. You just pull it out. Don't even have to take it off and then just turn it on. And it's hanging there. So if we need to do something with the line or
You've still got
something.
use of it, you can't drop it.
Yeah, and that's just a very simple clip, just with cave line, and we just tie off, melt it in. We can send a link to that as you do it, but it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. So with caves we use 3 lights, so we have 2 backups and a primary. What else?
So was that in a booth, was it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, turn it.
that's what I like,
Just,
the way that you tucked it away.
It's
Like
on the-
yeah, so
just
most,
bicycle tubing, or you can buy the proper ones for $2 or something from a dive shop, and you just get a bicycle tube, cut up rings, just rings.
Yeah.
so most,
Put on 2,
Yeah.
because one will break and then you're stuck, so
Yeah.
But you need a 28-inch rather than a 26.
Your local bike shop will have plenty of.
BMX, okay? Yeah, BMX, okay. BMX.
some plates, you know, you've just got that pretty standard webbing, and when that wears out, you just buy more. It's really easy. It's easy to change, and so that sits on there really nicely. All right, so the plate. Oh, yes, spare clip. So we always carry a double ender and stainless steel with stainless steel springs. The old brass clips, some of them are okay, but a lot of them will just rust out. They'll get jammed. But these are fantastic. You've got a camera, something's
So
broken,
just leave it sitting there for the dive.
and we just carry a spare.
Yeah, so you clip your camera off, clip it on here while you're doing something, unclip it, hand it up to the boat.
So the crotch strap, how often, because I've taken mine off, because I'm never upside down. It's just an extra thing which I've got to think about. In cave diving, have you ever been in a case where you go, thank God I've got that attached?
It gets used for different reasons. One of the things it does is actually sort of the belt coming around here, so it sort of comes down at an angle, so you want this firm so it's not in the middle of your stomach.
Right.
And that's
What
the
reason
use-
why? What?
It just all fits nicely.
Okay. I can see why from my side.
Yeah.
We do a lot of scooter diving as well, so our scooters just have a double ender on the end of the string.
Oh,
It
okay.
clips on there, and that pulls it through the water, turn your scooter on.
I-
Anything extra, you can clip off on the back.
So it's more for utilities as opposed to, it's not going to hit your head. Thank
Yes
God.
and no.
And it keeps everything firm, so.
Yeah. I always use a crotch strap. That, what Jeff's
Just be
wearing
like
is
me.
what I wear in the tropics. It's a
Okay.
light plate, light wing, and I just always have the crotch strap. I just find it pulls, because remember, you don't have you don't have
Yeah.
chest straps, you don't have
I
tight
never
knee
felt the
straps.
need to have a chest strap.
So if you don't
I
have
just
that
always
on
wear
there,
it.
this can move a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the crutch strap in, you don't notice it when you're diving. With the crutch strap in there, it's all nice and firm, helps.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, on a boat, on the small boats, it's a bit more of a fiddle.
Jerry, can you just swap around because they
Oh.
can see on this camera?
Oh, please.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, Jeff, there you go.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so, yeah, I've always wear the cross strap. I just find it
But is that
I like
something
everything
that's
having
used to,
colour.
or have you ever gone? Oh,
Going down into a wreck or down into a you know, into a crayfish
Even
hole.
then, my gut started. I've got the calcium as well. but
Yeah,
I've just never
yeah.
felt the need.
This is
to-
just things you can do. You don't
Yeah.
have to.
Give it a try.
It's all
But that's what I'm asking.
Yeah. No, I definitely would
We
always
just
wear
find
it.
everything
I just,
help, because now put that strap back on there. Now it can't move.
and if you've got a fairly heavy steel tank,
So with your weight belt, do you have a weight belt on top of that, or because you don't have pockets?
If we're diving twin tanks, we just put the weights between the twin tanks and then put the plate on, so you weight.
So
Make the
you're-
tanks very heavy.
they're not droppable.
Yeah.
You can't drop.
But how often have we had?
But I do wear a weight belt over
Right.
that. If I've just
Over
got a single tank, yep, I just
Single
wear it over it.
Mm.
And then, yeah, just,
But there are ways of putting the weight in there.
or I wear the weight belt and then I put the crotch strap, but I've just got to be aware that if I'm gonna dump, but
You drop.
undo that, and I'll talk to my body about it.
Yes, I haven't dropped
Yeah,
the weight belt in 40 years. I paid for it
No,
40
but-
years ago, so I don't want to lose it.
Yeah, there's the time you do. But no, fantastic question. So what's the advantage of a plate and wing? Who here uses a plate and wing? Yeah, there's a few of you. So what's an advantage of it?
Less stuff here to.
Yeah.
Get in the way of our arms, I find.
Yep, very little
I
on the
call them
front.
diving testicles.
Yeah, why do you use a plate and wing? Better trim, yeah. Yeah.
Lightweight,
What's that, sorry?
lighter weight belt.
Yeah.
Yes, yep. So this is an aluminium plate, but I've also got a steel plate. So for my twins, this plate in here is like a 1.5 kilos. This one's only less than a kilo, and that's good for travel. So I just got two. But the great thing is, yeah, exactly, trim. So in the water, this really does put you in good,
Yeah.
should put you in good trim, flat. That's what we want to be.
Mm.
And when we're on the surface and you've got plenty of air, you can actually, some people don't like them initially. They think, oh, they push me forward. I feel like I'm going to drown. But you actually sit back. You sit back like a chair. And good reason to have the crotch strap, actually. Yeah, no, it really is.
Because that's where it starts
It's,
pushing
you've
up.
got this air all pulling you
It'll
up,
support you from the
Yeah.
crotch strap.
and so you're sitting back.
Yeah, I'll
Give it a go.
Well, I started with it,
Yeah,
and just with the weight belt at the time. I was
it's a
just like,
pain. Yeah,
The other thing with normal beast is when you inflate, it compresses around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The surface where this, all the lift is back here.
which is
So
very nice.
Nothing changes.
So one of the things I've got difficulty with some of that, and I know it's a technical thing, I'm taking up a lot of it.
No, please do.
Is, and something I'm investigating, is a link to disengage it. So you're not having to pull, because with a wetsuit, a dry suit, and the valve at the side.
Yeah.
I'm finding it very difficult, so I'm thinking that's not that's an issue with technical diving.
We try to have as little failure points as possible, and
Yeah.
that's why that continuous
Yes.
webbing. And also the other thing is you,
chicken parma, sorry.
that's all right, all good. One mistake sometimes people make when they fit it all in is they have this on really tight.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that tight yet again with crotch strap. So you should be able to reach and pull. But I mean, I've been on the boat when I've dived with David and John. I mean, you've got the dump belt, you just get someone to help you.
Yeah.
You know, like,
But
and in an emergency, of course, you just cut it. If you've ever had to do a rescue, I'm not sure, after probably.
the rings do help. So once you sit down, you've got the weight off.
So then I get my thumb stuck.
Use your buddy. Unless you've left them on the bottom.
It's muscle memory. And
I
also,
want the nozzle
You need
really-
yoga.
Sorry?
You need yoga.
Yeah, probably.
the important thing when you set this up is you close your eyes and go like that. And that's where your D-ring should be.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's another little tip. All right, so good trim, lift is good. Oh, and dumping air. So we were saying about being in good trim. So you'll see that at the back on the left is the dump. So when Jeff dumps, rather than being upright like that, which you could start the dive like that, but along the way he can just put his
If you're
left
swimming, you
butt
don't want to
cheek
have
up.
sort of come up, drop some air, then swim back down, come up, drop some air. We just sort of right shoulder down, bum up, there out.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to practice as well. Yeah. Any other questions about wings and plates? Of course, you have a bigger wing and you've got twins, so this is a single wing 25,
30 pounds.
30 pounds, and we use a 40 pound for twins. Cylinders, I think most of you guys and girls here know the difference, but obviously steels tend to be heavier. They're good with dry suit. They don't change their buoyancy characteristics as dramatically as an LE tank. But sometimes you've got no choice, or that's what you've got, you know. But once again, if you're going to buy some new tanks, then definitely think about steels if you're going to twins or even a single. If you are using a pony tank or a deco tank, definitely an aluminium. You don't want to have a steel roll you. It is far too heavy. The LE, as you use it, will get lighter to the point where, you know, if you needed to, you could ditch it. So yeah, that's quite a big deal in technical. Gauges, I've already shown you a bit about the contents gauges being clipped. Easy to read, nice, big, clear. I'm sure you've got old gauges that got scratches all over them and you can hardly read them. I had a few like that, so I did change to the mineral glass brass ones, and yeah, my eyes, I can read them a lot better. Another thing we do is, because we've only got the SPG here, we do wear our computer compass on our arm. So, so Jeff's sort of wanting to, so if he's in, you know, obviously prone position, or he wants to adjust his buoyancy, adding on here, and he's on a safety stop, we have on the right arm, don't have to do that, but it's very easy then to watch that while you're staying in trim and sitting on a deco stop for safety.
But I think we can clip it like that, like that deck, and clipping it away. It's always just sitting there.
And a lot of the combo gauges, you can pop the computers out and you can get, you know, wrist things for them.
I missed the point there. Why the right arm and not left?
Okay, so in general, your left is all about your buoyancy.
Yep.
So you've got adding buoyancy here,
Okay.
here, and dumping.
Yeah.
Some wings are on the other side or in the middle. But so if you're there and you know, say with your buddy and they've popped a bag or something, you're watching them, you can then just dump the air and you've still got your right arm watching your gauge.
Yeah.
It's not critical, as I said, it's just a little tip that it makes it, if you're going to go to a wrist mount, everyone always starts with left. You think, I'll wear my watch on my left. But the right just makes it easier to have everything there, and then all the buoyancy things are on the
It
left.
also goes on to where you put your torch. So you put your torch on your left hand. If you do have an out of gas situation, you donate the gas to your buddy. So if you've got your torch in this hand, you donate your gas to your buddy, and then you've got your torch in his eyes. You get your torch on there, and if you've got a scooter, you control your scooter with your right hand. So that sort of that matches up that way around.
It's kind of a
But that's
combination.
sort of next level technical
It's
stuff.
not critical, but if you're going to move to a wrist, that's what I would recommend, is go onto your right wrist. Any other comments or questions about that? Are we going to time? All right. Yeah. Okay. So exposure suits. So you've got your new dry suit.
Is it wiggle?
What's that?
Is it underwater wiggle?
Oh, wiggle. Excellent.
It's not a dry suit, it's a less wet suit.
Oh, that's right. They all are. After dive one, they are all, yes.
Semi-dry.
So they are frustrating, they're expensive, they've got to get fixes. I know there's a lot of negatives about dry suits. However, what we like, and especially with technical diving, if we've got 2, 3, 4 tanks, they are backup buoyancy. So John would remember, I was diving last week on the Coogee, was swimming down with, you know, twin tanks to the wing. I went, oh, my whole thing had broken, the whole dump and the inside had broken. And I thought, oh, God, I might have to abort the dive. You know, we were swimming, had to swim a fair way to get to the wreck. I mean, I went, no, I agree. So I had to, if I made myself a little upright, the air would stay on my wing. So that's a good donut, you know, the donut wings have got that advantage. But I had a dry suit. I could put all my air in my dry suit, continued the dive, let my buddy know, and I even did a second dive. So, you know, it was, but I mean, things can happen. You know, wings can get punctured or that sort of thing can happen. So for us, we really like the
Probably
dolphin.
real old timers didn't even have,
No, that's right.
yes, are you that? Is he here too?
No, that's
No.
true.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Well, we learned, this is, we learned in a, horse collar vest. Melbourne Uni, 1983. That was, they had all this air here. Oh, trying to swim.
Life jacket.
Life jacket,
Yeah,
horse collar,
okay.
yeah. Bloody awful.
No scuba.
No scuba, but yeah, dry suits are great. I mean, despite the problems I've suggested, for me, it's things like the second dive. I'm warm already for the second dive, even in summer. The buoyancy, you can vary what you wear underneath. I've worn them in southern Queensland, onto Lady Musgrave Island. I just wear my thin thermals, merino thermals, and then obviously you can add different layers. For me, they're much easier to get on and off rather than pulling on a wetsuit. I have thigh pockets. We both have thigh pockets, which are really useful. Put your SMB, spare torches, spare masks and such on them. Yeah, so you can also get, if you don't have pockets, you can get them, glued on as well. Don't have to, but once again, just a really nice thing. So the other thing, I've mentioned these the other day, and someone said to me, "Oh, what are tech shorts?" So these are the ones I use. These are Scuba Pro, but the Apex, there's a number of them use it now. And you can wear these over a wetsuit, or I wear this in the tropics, and just have a rashy or whatever. And they got a pull. And the great thing is is that all right? They've got a loop.
Well done.
Chicken curry there, guys.
Chicken curry. So the pockets have a loop, and so you can clip in something like your SMB. I use some spare. I've got wet lenses. Store them in there. I can clip them off. A spare mask. But we always carry a spare mask.
Stick a Mars bar in there. Then.
Mars bar in there. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So if you've got a wetsuit, you want to add on some pockets and get rid of some of the danglies, then this is not a bad way to go. You just wear them over the top of your wetsuit, and then you can also wear them in the tropics. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring them in because somebody asked me about them the other day. All right, clips, snaps, D-rings. We've already talked about the bolt snap, how useful that is. Give a little squirt of WD-40, keep them nice working. You can get some good marine grade ones in Bunnings occasionally, but be careful you don't get the cheap ones because they will just rust. D-rings here, so you may notice that these have actually got a bend in them, so they actually stick out a little bit. So you don't want them really flat, they're very difficult to clip on. An important thing to do when you're adding on tanks or clipping something is clipping up. So it feels sort of weird, but you clip up. And the reason you clip, one reason we suggest clip up, much easier to get them off. If you clip down, because I say, "Oh, I'll help you, I'll put your tank on," clip down. To get that off, can everyone see? I've got to go like that. So it's a real muscle memory thing. But that clip up, you just get used to it, becomes second nature.
The nice thing too is the ring that on the shoulder plan, you're pulling it up, not pulling it down.
Yeah.
When you're trying to get it off.
Yes.
So,
By clipping, taking up, takes it off. Yeah. So it seems kind of strange, but it really works. Straight D ring, I think we've talked about these already. The hip tend to have straight ones, and bring up. Right, body position, which we've already kind of talked about a little bit. I do a body position nice and flat, horizontal, feet up, knees bent. And this is a great position, as we've already discussed, for moving through the water, great for
chicken curry.
less fatigue, less gas. And it's also referring back to the previous meeting we talked about decompression and off-gassing. If you're in this position, it's a much better, more efficient position to be in froth gassing, because you've got, if you think about your lungs, here, you've got a larger surface area. You think about the gas, up in your lungs, you've got a larger surface area, and people suggest, not saying it's 100% true, that that's a more efficient and a better way to off gas rather than being upright.
Because
So
the
if you-
whole body's in a plane rather than spread over 2 meters.
Yeah, so instead of your feet are hanging down and you're upright, and if, there are little bubbles in your body, maybe a little less chance of it going to your shoulders, your head, etc. So, so not a bad way to do your safety stops. And ideal position to respond to emergencies. And what do we mean by this? And Jeff sort of pointed this out when we were doing the talk, that if he's there floating like that, he's looking ahead and he's got a long hose or something to donate, he can look ahead and see me and quickly donate. Whereas if he's upright, it has to come down around. It's, neither here nor there, but you are sort of in a good position to respond, pull the long hose out and share.
Also, people, as you say, open water divers in particular, when they finish their dive, they drop down and they don't control their buoyancy. They sit there and they just swim, and that's their buoyancy control. They're using more gas and also then going up, down, up, down, up, down. So if you do have a problem, you've got to then go down flat, swim across to the problem. Where in this position here, you're in that position for the dive, your buoyancy is under control a lot better, and you can react to anything that might happen, which would be at the end of the dive or a decompression or a gas change.
As we know, you want to try and exercise. Well, it was an interesting discussion, wasn't it? Do you exercise or not exercise during a safety stop? But anyway, I guess the main thing is you try not to work too hard, and you definitely don't want to be in an upright position. Okay, right. Reduces fatigue, increases enjoyment. Good for photography. So if you're wanting to get down low, get your nudie rank shots or whatever, nice to be able to control your buoyancy, be flat, extend the bottom time we really talked about. Prevents damage to the environment. I'm sure you've seen people, the fins are going like this and everything's going everywhere. It also can help to prevent damage to equipment. So you're trying to reduce the amount of stuff that's sort of hanging off you, get rid of the Christmas tree effect. And it might prevent you pissing off your buddy. I don't know. That's always important. Look good and don't piss off your buddy. All right, the last couple of things. DSMB launching, closed versus open SMBs, oral versus regular. So what do I mean by that? So this is what we use. So we just use a very simple spool. There's nothing much that can go wrong with that. It doesn't have a handle, doesn't have a ratchet, doesn't have things that can break.
Other than your own technique.
Other than your own technique. That's right. So this is under techniques. So we practice, and especially under near piers and stuff. So we have it already set up. So just, the spools just, loop through the SMB. Take that off, clip it off to your D-ring, and then very importantly, open it out and spread it out in front of you completely. So it's all about keeping everything nice and clear, not having anything drop down below, potential to get caught. And we really like these oral inflation ones. So with the spool, just hold it in your left hand, hold the oral inflation tube. You can also put these onto your dry suit. I don't really like doing that. I like to have the control of blowing.
If you inflate it and you can't get it off, where are you going to go?
Yeah, so as you're probably aware, this can be a dangerous weapon. If you get this stuck, caught on you, and you have a few minutes decode, and next minute you're on the surface, that's not good news. Yeah. So take our reg out, obviously with the right hand reg, and then blow. And then, a couple of blows. And that might even be enough. If you're quite deep, as you know, that'll expand. And then as you let go, pull that out in front of you, let it go, and then that just runs in your fingers. And you can even just let it go. It'll spin in front of you. So if you do accidentally drop it, just let it go. When it's reached the surface, flip off. Now, the other thing that we tend to do is we launch deeper. So if we want a nice stable platform, and particularly if we're tech diving and doing deeper stops, we've got enough line on here that'll do about 18 metres. So I like to let the boat know I'm on my way up. Here I am, and I'm starting to do my deco, I'm starting to do my
Some of the
safety.
deeper dives, we're doing 30, 35 minutes deco. So we do our gas switch at 21 metres and 50% O2. Couple of minutes, come up to 18 metres launch, and then they can watch us drift around wherever. You don't doing too many things at once, like swapping gases, organising the team, launching the SMB. Oh, we're a bit short now, let's go. You get confused. So just do one thing at each step.
And then we just, as we're going up, slowly, and it just slows you down, you know, just so we're not coming up too quickly. And then, you know, you might be at your 5 metre safety stop, you click off. And then, you know, you really can just let this hang and you can just float in front of it and watch it. Or you can hold it or hand it round. Very, very simple system. And the other good thing for us is that when this packs up, it fits inside our pocket. In the tropics, I clip it off to my D-ring and I have it hanging here, or I just have a little pocket that I slide onto my waist and I just keep the SMB in there because a lot of my friends play honey buggers and we play who can steal the SMB from the person without them noticing.
Terri,
Yeah,
you use a very small SMB.
yeah.
Is that better than one of those really long ones?
Oh, look,
Mate, come on, you know, it's not about the size.
the longer the better.
It's all about size.
That's obviously the minimum. I bought a pink one recently because it's
12 points. It's
2
incredible.
meters.
Well done.
Hello.
Someone needs to go mute.
Somebody's going, yeah.
Handling and being able to put it away.
Yesterday there were no warplanes or anything, this man says, so we slept comfortably. Prisoners released from an Israeli jail reunited with family. 9 years at Hamburg Wasabi as she waited for her daughter. Today, she celebrated. Elsewhere in the West Bank, it's a powder keg. Fires lit, shots fired, at least one person killed. Violence putting the truce in Gaza to the test. In Tel Aviv, Jessica Ward, 9 News.
Yeah, which is
Well, I found really
Against a man shot by police in Adelaide earlier this month.
Device, right?
Yeah.
But I put one tiny breath of air in it.
yes.
And that's enough to slowly unravel it, and then it just sits above me, not wrapping around my face and getting in my way. So that
Yeah.
one little puff is enough to say, right, like that's not enough to take me up or anything
No.
like that. It just straightens it out. It sits there.
Yep.
I get totally organised. I love the dry fitting, the dry suit.
Yeah.
I leave
Yeah.
one on just to do this.
Yeah.
Mine can't stick. It hasn't got a connection to it. It's
Right.
just like it's only just pushes in, and as soon as you let it go, it blows out.
Yep.
But having it sitting there just gently and just takes away all the hassle.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. And often, you know, when it's really cold, your lips are so yeah, I just physically find it hard. But you're right, you do one little breath, get it all out there, and then continue. No, that's a great point. Yep, yep.
And the other thing with these is you can put your torch inside it at night.
Oh, yeah.
For a night dive or something, and the boat can see you inside.
Yep, yep. And we
Sorry, I
use
missed that. What do you do?
Put
You
the
put your
light.
torch in the bottom of it.
When you're on
On
the
the
surface.
When you're on-
Surface, right?
Yeah, you can't do that at.
No.
You could if you wanted. It's better in there, but it's not coming on.
So this one is a closed one. Okay, so there is no opening.
Yeah.
There's no way to put a
Oh,
reed up
okay.
it. So, but I prefer these because I do like the control, and you can use a dry suit or another inflator. So you can do that. I'm not as big a fan of the reg underneath because you do risk that the reg could get caught and off it goes, and one can take you with it. So it's fine. Look, if you've got an open one and that's what you used to, absolutely fine. But just suggesting if you need to go buy a new one or just have a think about it, you know, other ways, then these little closed ones are good. And they less chance of it getting to the surface and spilling its gas.
Yes, yes,
Because it's sealed, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, you put a bit of, with the spool, sit there, you know, on your safety stop, nice position, put a bit of weight on it so it pulls it up. But as I say, think about, you know, obviously discuss it with your skipper and the plan and your buddy, but I think it's good some places to launch it a bit earlier. So he's got much more chance of being able to, she's got much more, better chance of finding you or knowing where you are.
It should be closer to the boat at that point, so if you do a 20, 25, 30-minute deco and you drift it further and further away, they can watch you as you travel along.
But even, you know, even if you're not doing a deco dive, it's just, I think it's nice for the boat to know where you
What
are.
about writing your name on it?
Yeah, Jeff hasn't, have you? No, I've got mine, I've got my initials on it, yes,
They're
I
not like
agree.
skippers, because when you're in the rip,
Yep,
30 of them come up, it's really nice and say, yeah.
yeah, I agree. Either you can put your initials up here on the top or write it down the side, yep.
You're not going to see that.
It needs to be fairly
If you
big.
come past, you know,
Yeah.
you just stay a few meters away, oh, that's not mine, or the way once you radio, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. I've got my initials, yep.
Do you carry a different colour one from orange to yellow or not?
We don't,
Okay.
but you're right, a lot of technical divers do. So if there's an issue, they'll launch the
Yellow one.
yellow, yeah. I just don't carry
So,
it.
because there's some DSMBs which are yellow on one side and orange on the other.
I know.
Don't get that.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I'm not okay.
Get out of the I'm not sure.
Lord, I'm really-
I'm ambidextrous on this one.
You're right, and I mean,
Don't get the
if you
yellow
are
one.
with technical divers and you see the yellow, then yeah. All right, nearly finished, guys. So I've got a link here. I don't know if you want to play it. That's just of somebody launching an SMB, but otherwise you can do a YouTube search. There's plenty of examples of it. And the last thing I just wanted to talk about, kind of in relation to the fins a little bit, is propulsion. So frog kicking. And I know, you know, some of the people I've dived with VSAG, beautiful frog kickers. Once again, it's not like you don't have to do it, but there's lots of advantages. It's a kick and glide. So it's very efficient. It doesn't kick up silt, keeps you in a nice prone position, great for photography, and back kicking as well, which is a harder thing to master, but it's fun to try. And the other one is helicopter turns. Are you to an egg beater? It's quite easy actually. You need to turn around, you're inside a wreck, or doing, you know, photography. So I probably won't play them, but sidemounting.com. It is about side mounting, but Steve Martin, fantastic instructor, and a lot of these ones are actually free. He does like sell a course, and Jeff and I learned how to do all our setup of our latest side mounting using his course online, and it was fabulous. Yeah, I think that's about
If
it.
you can flick me those links,
Yeah.
we'll share them through Walter's email.
Okay.
Call out tomorrow. We'll
Yeah.
send all those links around.
Okay, rather than just plain.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? You disagree with what I've said?
All makes sense, I think.
Yeah, just something to think about. Yeah. Great, thank
Thanks
you.
very much, Gary.
Thanks, Terry and Jeff, for your presentation. Really appreciate that. I learned extra much. So we're going to take a short pause to eat, drink and be merry. And we'll return to the online presentation at 8 o'clock where Ian will do in photogrammetry. Photo stuff.
Thank you for that. I really enjoyed it.
All right. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thanks, onliners.
Thank you, online.
Kept in the car, come around.
Well, I know we done that.
That's family, good?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. And your, gout you had or what you had?
No, I just got a cold.
Did you have something on your legs? Was it, no?
Oh, a long time ago.
Yeah,
No, I just got a gout. Really sore ankle.
You know, what gets rid of a cold, kick up the house, knocks it out the other way.